I have 7 intuitive predictions for the month of March that you must hear. Hi, I'm nikkinovo. I'm a master intuitive, and here are 7 predictions that I channeled for you that are really going to help you take advantage of the month of March and live into all the opportunities it has to bring you. Let's get into it. Message number 1, you finally do it. There's something that you've been talking about, thinking about, dreaming about that you finally start to take some steps towards, which is really exciting. And it's not so much that the steps are as important as the fact that it is a sign of commitment. So you're not going to take one step that makes it all happen. For example, maybe you've been thinking about moving, or maybe you've been thinking about changing your career. That might look like you change your resume and you put it up on LinkedIn, or you go and take a trip to that place that you've been thinking about moving to. And these steps actually show your commitment to the path that you're truly meant to be on. So this is really exciting. I was getting a lot of celebration, even just goosebumps from your guides being like, yes, and it seems that it's been brewing in your head for a long time. Like this has been taking up space in your upper centers, in your upper chakras, but now this action is coming through, and it's not a crazy amount of action. It's just steps forward, and it really locks you in to where you're supposed to go. So this is really exciting. You should be super proud of yourself. No step is too small, right? Like any step moving forward, and really starting to get comfortable with the commitment to where you're actually going. This is the path. This is where you're meant to be. Message number 2. You are going to be attracted to new voices and to new language. I thought this was really interesting, and there's a lot of different messages mixed into this one. So you yourself are going to be attracted to people that speak in a different way, because the way that they're speaking is almost giving them a different life than the life you've been living. So for example, maybe we speak the way our parents speak because that's who we grew up with, but we realize that they're a little negative, or they're gossipy and they say these things, and then they have a certain life based off the way they're speaking. And then you meet that other friend who has a mom who speaks totally different, and her life is so much more chill and so much more beautiful. And you're like, oh, interesting. It's almost like you make this connection that the way you speak actually creates your life. So naturally, you're going to start to be attracted to different voices. This is also a message if you are somebody who is a voice and you like to do content or podcasts or something. There's going to be new people interested in you and coming your way, as long as you are being true to who you are, because it almost seems like the voices that were known and popular over the last few years have followed some sort of rhythm that is catchy, speaks to the algorithm, and it's what has attracted people for a long time, but people are bored of that and don't want to hear that. My sense is almost honestly, it's kind of negative, and it's kind of sensational type vibes. And there's these new voices coming on the scene that are really about seeing where the world is going, and really bringing everybody to focus towards the light. So these voices, they're not necessarily new. My sense is that they've been around. It's just that it's they've been the healthy green juice that just we weren't attracted to for a long time, because there's been this amazing chocolate cake that we keep eating, and finally we're I just can't eat any more chocolate cake. I can't listen to this person gossip and talk about these things. I need this, light is really calling me. So this is very exciting. I think you're going to see it in yourself, but also if you yourself are a voice, what's going to start working and really attracting people is speaking into where we're going, not speaking about where we've been, if that makes sense. So even let's say your work is about looking at problems or activism, all that. It's not really time to be talking about the problems, but actually talking about the solutions. So I could see almost a podcast where you're interviewing people that just give a lot of different solutions. We're not saying that that is the one way, but it's almost it's that very Aquarius feeling that we are collaborating and talking about new ideas to try to find a solution for where we're going. So it's not positive. It's more light oriented and moving into the future and seeing that life could be better. So yeah, this is very an interesting thing, and you're going to start to consume this information. This message is also about the information that you consume, because it almost looks like what we're consuming through our ears is just as important as what we consume through our body. So you can eat a healthy salad, but if you're watching or listening to something that is unhealthy, you might as well be eating, the most unhealthiest stuff. So this is like an interesting thing having to do with voices and the voices that you yourself are going to be attracted to. And this is cool because this is basically rewiring your mind to help you move into this life that you're trying to shift into. So it's a very small detail. Like, it's something that can be like easily overlooked, but it's going to make a huge difference. Message number 3, passion meets confidence. So there's something that you desire, there's something you want, there's something even that you're passionate about, that you would love to do, that you would love to have. And you're realizing that you don't have the confidence for it, which is like such a bummer. Like, you're realizing that, let's say, oh, I really want a luxury bag. Fine, I can save up money for this luxury bag and I can buy this luxury bag, but then I show up to the store and I can't actually pull the trigger. Like, I can't actually buy the bag. Like, why is that? And it's because I don't feel like I can carry it, that I feel like an imposter. Like, I'm right here, I'm about to purchase the bag. And this has actually happened to me. I remember when I was a young mom, my husband, as like a mom gift, he was like, oh, I'm going to buy you a nice bag for like your baby bag. And it was like a designer bag. And he brought me to the store. It was a beautiful store. And I looked at him and was like, I can't do it. Like, I don't need this. I don't want this. And he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And I was the one that like kind of told him that I wanted this. Like, I just could not carry that bag. And whether that's good or bad, I just know that I wasn't ready for it, if that makes any sense. And although I wanted it, it's like I didn't have the confidence to carry it. So there's something like that happening right now with you. And this is not like, okay, great, let's just give up. I was starting to ask the question. I'm like, okay, well then what is the confidence? How do you get it? How does it come through? And what I was really understanding was that a lot of it's going to come from like the awareness, just being like, okay, the only reason I don't have what I want is because I don't feel confident. I don't feel like I can wear it. I don't feel like I can hold it. It feels uncomfortable, right? Like, have you ever dated a bunch of like D-bags and then one day some like nice guy brings you to a nice restaurant and treats you well and you just like want to run away because you're so uncomfortable, even though this is a healthy thing, this is the good thing, you deserve this, right? But you just like want to run away. That's kind of what's happening here. And what do you do to heal that? You do it little by little. Maybe you can only go to that restaurant for 20 minutes and then you leave. Like, maybe you can't sit down there for 2 hours. Maybe you can only do 20 minutes. It almost looks like you don't have the full stamina to hold that much light and that much love yet, but that doesn't mean you're not going to grow into it. So it's the awareness of knowing I am working towards this little by little. So maybe I love to binge watch like really trashy TV, but I'm going to try to listen to 10 minutes of like something positive, and maybe 10 minutes is all I have the capacity for, and that's okay. And then I'm going to, spend the rest of the time on the bad TV. That's totally cool. But almost like learning to increase your capacity for the love that is trying to come your way, because confidence is truly the capacity to accept love. It's the capacity to accept what we're worthy of. So that's really what we think we have to like go and make confidence, but it's actually that we don't have the stamina to hold love and to hold what we're worthy of. So we tend to have to do reps. It's like, so confidence typically looks like, oh, I did this thing over and over again until I got good at it. But what's really happening is that you got comfortable with being like, yeah, I'm good at this. Like, you got comfortable with being like, yeah, I can be a better basketball player. Yeah, I can be a better speaker. Like, you got more comfortable with that and you expanded your capacity to hold love and worthiness. So This is about looking at what it is that you want. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a career, maybe it's a new home. And seeing that what you want, you don't have the capacity to hold it yet, but you're working on it. That you're gonna start to expand your capacity to hold love and to hold what you deserve and what you're worthy of. And only you will know what that exercise may be. But like I said, maybe it's an exercise of, I'm gonna sit at this fancy store. I'm not gonna buy the bag yet, but I'm gonna stay here for 10 minutes and I'm gonna let my body get comfortable. And then I'm gonna come next weekend and I'm gonna stand here for 20 minutes. And then I'm gonna come the following weekend. I'm gonna buy a keychain because like, the keychain's only $100 and I'm comfortable with buying the keychain. But little by little, I'm expanding my capacity to feel worthy of these things that I desire, that I know are for me. If I desire them, they're for me, they're part of my soul's path. My job is to open my capacity to accept that love. So what you want is going to rub up against what you believe you deserve, but you're going to expand that. And that's how you're going to get there. Message number 4. You're really going to start to see positive signs of growth. There's something happening. It's almost like your mind is being rewired. It's very interesting. I'm not sure where this is coming. I think this is just coming from like a blast of light. You're attracting so much divine guidance right now. It looks like you've called it in, and I have goosebumps. And the angels are like really showing up, and it is specifically like shooting very high light and vibration to your mind, which is exciting. And it's kind of like this rewiring of the mind. And one of the simple things they're asking us to do in order to help what they are trying to do on the other side that I guess we can't even really understand is to start to look around for signs of your own growth. So signs of our own growth is going to be things that are reflected back to us. So for example, maybe you're like, oh my God, I met this new friend and she's so healthy and she's super cool. And, she thinks about women like this and she doesn't do this, but she does do this, right? Like just the changes. And this might not be somebody that you are going to see forever and who's going to become your best friend. But the fact that you attracted that to you is a sign of growth, because maybe you're like, my other friends or the people that I used to attract were like this. So you're really being asked to almost give yourself gold stars for what you are attracting. The other day I was traveling and I rented a car, and I was, I was renting the cheapest car I could get because I didn't feel like spending a bunch of money. And when I got there, they were very busy, and I had ordered an SUV and they had run out of SUVs. And they were like, listen, we're going to give you a sedan, which I was kind of annoyed because I had paid for the SUV. And the guy's like, listen, I can give you this like super nice convertible Mercedes, or we can wait, a couple hours to get that SUV. And I was like, no, obviously I will take the Mercedes, And at first, and I thought it was like funny. I was like, look at that, Nikki, like you attracted an upgrade. Like that's amazing. There's something in your energy. There's some sort of shift that you attracted something better than what you even were going to let yourself have, and you attracted it without having to pay more. And that is like my spiritual self being like, good job, high five. Like you attracted something, this upgrade. And those are silly things. We've all had upgrades, like all those cool upgrades that come to us every once in a while, that somebody, gives us a something, buys us a coffee. But it's almost like we're being asked to take credit for that. To be like, yeah, sure, that guy gave me like a great break and that was so kind of him, but my energy attracted that. So when something good happens to you that maybe you didn't earn, you did because your energy brought it to you. And this is for some reason a very important understanding, because it is rewiring your mind to help you become like who you are becoming, basically. So little gold stars for what you're attracting, and seeing all these signs of growth, really being able, maybe instead of, having a gratitude journal, you could have a growth journal and take a minute every day and be like, what did I attract today that was very positive? Like, how is it that my life is changing? Oh, what's interesting? Every time I see my mom, I used to act this way, or she would respond to me this way, but I've changed so much that now she's responding to me this way. Like that is a gold star, right? Like you didn't force her to change, but energetically, you're not a match for, however she was treating you before, and now she's treating you differently, and you should be proud of yourself. So we're gonna start our little growth journals for the month of March, and taking some time every day during your spiritual practice to write down how you're growing based off what you've been attracting. Message number 5. There's a huge emphasis on health this month because your health, for some reason, is connected to your abundance. So what's really interesting is that you might have been working on abundance. Maybe you're like, I want to make more money, or I want to have more opportunities. I want to bring more into my life, but this more is not showing up. And your guides are really saying, yeah, because you can't force that, right? Like if you want a boyfriend, you can't go buy a boyfriend off the shelf, but you can work at it from a different angle. And they're saying that angle is actually your health. So if your body's been giving you a hard time, if your body has been like telling you, no, we can't do gluten anymore, or we can't do sugar anymore, don't be mad at it. It's trying to support you, because actually how you take care of your body is sending a direct signal to the universe of what you deserve to receive. So take a break on what you're manifesting, what you're, like, I really want this job, I really want that, and just focus on your health, on your well-being. And health is not only maybe the food you're eating, it's obviously a mix of things. It could be the food you're eating, it could be your exercise, it could be your mental health, right? So everything that is health, that is what you're being asked. Like, just stay there, just pour into that place. It's going to happen naturally. My sense is like, even if you didn't hear this, like, unfortunately, your body is taking you here. But knowing that there's a reason that this is happening. And this is a nice break from wanting the things that we want and knowing that we have like no control over that, and then sometimes it's like, I want this, but it almost creates more lack. So this health is almost like a focus. It's a place to like hold our focus and our mindset, so that we can start to bring in more abundance. It's directly, and I saw it very connected to money as well. Like, it's directly connected to money, which is funny because, health is an investment. I'm sure you're like, oh, I got to go, eat healthier, which costs more money, or I need to hire a trainer or a gym, which costs money, like all these things, right? But this investment is into yourself and into your own energy. Your health actually clears your body from density. And when that happens, our body can make more space for our spirit and our soul to actually sit in. And what we're really looking for is for our soul to take up as much space in our human body so that it can live into and do all the magical things that only a soul can do. So, but when we are drinking too much caffeine, not moving our bodies, around toxic people, we start to protect ourselves and become like thick, almost like there's like a density that happens where our energy can't sit through and like really maneuver the body. So this cleansing, this clearing is actually making more space for your essence to really, really come through. And that's why it's here. And when you are really more in your essence is when all this abundance that you're thinking about and that you're really wanting, you begin to attract it. So whether we like it or not, health is coming for us this month. Message number 6. I am going to share this message with a ton of compassion, because as a Cancer energy that I am, I have so much Cancer energy. I am mom, like that's just my vibe. And this message is about family, and it almost looks like we're going to reflect on family loyalty, which I thought was so interesting. It's like, what we maybe grew up considering is family loyalty, maybe being like, no, I could, never leave my parents, or I could never not talk to my sister, or I could never not put my kids first. Like, that's what I've been taught to do. That is loyalty. Like, this is the way things are done. It looks like there's a big reflection on this, and it's a very mature reflection. It's not like a blaming, like I'm going to blame all these people. But my sense is almost like you get this message from your ancestors, maybe even like a grandmother who passed, or like this, it's going to feel very divine, it's going to tell you that it's okay. It makes me want to cry. Like, it's okay to be what you are considering disloyal to your family. Like, it's okay. And that's not really the word. It's almost just the way you're seeing it. But there's this like separation and this need to live your own life and make your own path that is really calling you and being asked of you. But it's hard to do it because you're trying to still also appease this former family or this like family of origin. And it almost looks like you're trying to handle both. Like, you're trying to figure out how both can exist, but you're going to get permission almost divinely and energetically to pave your own path and to reconsider what you believe loyalty towards your family is. Because from a human standpoint, loyalty may be like, yeah, I need to, live near them, go to all the things, do what they say, engage in the things that they want. Sure, from a human standpoint. But from a spiritual standpoint, the soul always has more responsibility than a human does. The soul often will look at the human situation and be like, yeah, the easiest thing would to just be keep hanging out with them, doing, what I think will appease everybody, and just complain about it later and, be stressed or be drinking like after I leave my family. That's almost like the easier way out. And the soul is like, see, if I don't remove myself from the situation, these other souls that I'm in a family with can never change or upgrade. And my responsibility is to be true to my soul, because we are all soulmates and we are all affecting each other. And I may be the thing that heals the entire unit by removing myself a little bit. And the soul has that responsibility. The human has like less of that. It doesn't understand that responsibility, because the soul is more like, I came here to do something for lessons, for growth, for lineage cleansing. And on a human level, I think I'm doing the right thing. And on a human level, I think I'm being kind and all these things. But on a soul level, I'm totally missing the mark. So this reflection is going to be more of a spiritual reflection and a soul reflection. And it's not an easy one. And it may even be one that it might be helpful to have a therapist with, or, even like a neutral person to look at this, because there is something you're meant to do that almost like you don't really want to do, but you must do. It's like a must that has to do with family. That is going to almost seem kind of selfish. You're going to choose you, but by choosing you, you activate healing. It might look like you're activating chaos and a frenzy, because it's going to look like that at first, but it is actually you doing what your soul came here to do when it comes to your family. And our last message, I always like to leave like the funny ones for last, but your last message is you're going to have some sort of accidental spiritual experience. This makes me laugh because I don't know why. I'm almost like picturing you thinking you're going to go to like a vacation and it's going to be super fun, and all of a sudden like weird things happen and you have this like awakening from the trip. It reminds me of this time I went to, on my 40th birthday, I went to Sonoma with all my girlfriends. And I don't drink, but I wanted to be with my friends. So I go and I'm like, okay, having a good time. But I was a little annoyed that we were going on this trip, because I was like, we should be like having a spiritual experience together. Like maybe we go to a spa. I even hired a guy at the beginning of the trip to do sound bowls, and it was a total miss, guys. Like my girlfriends were like, we're here to drink wine. Like, why are you bringing some sound bowl guy? And like one of them got dizzy and even like vomited because they couldn't like handle the energy. It was the funniest thing. This was like me trying to influence the group. It wasn't working. So we're on this trip, and about 2 days in, we're in California. So one friend buys gummies, right, from California. And I'm like, whatever, I'm not drinking, but I can take half of this thing. I take half of this thing, and it was a spiritual experience that I never asked for. It was like a spiritual experience I never wanted. Like I accidentally gave myself like ayahuasca or something. And I was having this experience, and all my childhood friends were there, and all these awarenesses were coming. I mean, it was like the freakiest thing ever. And I was like, this is not Like this was a total accident, but it was so lovely afterwards. And I thankfully had my therapist to process everything with, but it was a spiritual experience that I actually needed, but I wasn't prepared for. Like it was accidental. So there's something like that coming this March. I don't think as aggressive as my story. It could be simply like an aha moment. It almost looks like it's an aha moment that really like is a puzzle piece to something you've been trying to figure out, but you just never thought it would come from this angle. So that's why it seems surprising and almost like accidental. Like it comes from the weirdest place is what it feels like. Like you might be like, oh, I'm trying to figure out, why I can't make a lot of money. But then all of a sudden you're like at your kid's school and you're watching some show that they're doing and the teacher says something that gives you this major aha moment. Like it's a very random, you would have never thought it would come from that angle. That looks like what it's happening. So be careful where you go, be careful what you drink and eat, careful with teas, gummies, all that kind of stuff, because there's some sort of awakening and it, might even come from like a plant medicine that you didn't even know was going to come your way. So I'm just putting it out there. It's going to be funny, but it's going to be very helpful. It's very supportive and it's quick. And it's like a lot, and it's a bit of an aha moment, but something that makes you laugh is what it looks like. So that's what we got for March, guys. There's a lot going on. I'm really excited for you. I'm so proud of all the awakening and work that you're doing. You should be super proud of yourself. And I can't wait to see what you do with March. If you like this video, leave me a comment, tell me what you expect for March, and don't forget to subscribe.